Welcome to the Parsha Perspective. Each week, we will delve deep in a weekly Torah portion to find a practical and insightful way to enhance your daily life. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Shalom Yemini. Each week, we will look into the weekly Torah portion to find inspiration that will complement your daily life and intensify your connection to God. This week's Parsha Perspective is dedicated in memory of Shlomo Ben Edward and Yosef Ben Zev Wolf. May their souls be uplifted and their memories a blessing. This week's Parsha Perspective is also in honor of Sasson Betzalel ben Batya and Sapir bas Ariela. May they have a quick and complete recovery. This week's Torah portion is Parshas Chayei Sarah. Our Parsha begins with the passing of Sarah Imenu at the age of 127 years old. And then Avraham negotiated with Ephron to buy a plot of land known till today as the Mearas HaMachpelah in Chevron for 400 shekels to use as a burial plot for the next generations. When Avraham finished mourning for Sarah Imenu, he sent his most trusted servant Eliezer to find a wife for his son Yitzchak. When Eliezer arrived in the city of Charan, he went to the well and encountered a young girl who offered him and his camels water to drink. When Eliezer asked who she was, he discovered that her name was Rivkah and she was the great niece of Avraham Avinu. At that moment, he knew that she would marry Yitzchak. When they went home, Rivkah told her family what had occurred, and her brother Lavan went outside to greet Eliezer and invited him to stay the night. And with her family's blessings, the next morning, Eliezer and Rivkah traveled back to the land of Canaan, where she married Yitzchak and went into Sarah's tent. However, a question comes to mind. When the Torah tells us that Sarah Imenu passed away, it writes, "Vatoma Sarah b'Kiryas Arba hi Chevron be'eretz Canaan," and Sarah passed away in Kiryas Arba, which is now Chevron, in the land of Canaan. Vayavoy Avram lispoid lisara ulivkaisa, and Avram came to eulogize Sarah and to cry for her. But why did the pasuk write that at first Avram eulogized Sarah and then cried for her? Shouldn't Avram first cried and wept for his wife Sarah and then give her husband her eulogy? There is an amazing kliyakar on this pasuk that writes that the reason the pasuk first wrote that Avraham Avinu eulogized Sarah and then cried for her was because with each passing day her absence was felt even greater. For generally, a mourner's sense of loss diminishes and subsides as time moves on. But Sarah Imenu was the energy and spirit that enabled Avram to overcome the challenges and tests that was placed in his path. She was the force behind the miracles that graced her home. The miracles that the candles stayed lit from Friday afternoon to Friday afternoon, that her bread never went stale or got moldy, the clouds of glory that Anania covered always rested above their home. And when Sarah passed away, she left an immense vacancy and void in Avram's life. And this only grew bigger with each passing day. However, the Rabbeinu Bachaya gives a deeper and more profound explanation. He quotes Rashi, who explains that the reason behind Sarah's death was that she was in shock when she heard that her son Yitzchak was almost slaughtered as a carbon, as a sacrifice. And this implies that Avram was not there when Sarah passed away, as he was still in the mountain on Har Moriah with Yitzchak. And in fact, according to Ramban, he was a 3 days' travels from Sarah. The Rabbeinu Bachaya explains that when Avram heard that Sarah had passed, he quickly traveled back to Chevron. And when he arrived, he didn't give himself any time to weep, for the most important task at hand was to bury Sarah Imenu, which came before his pain and sorrow. As honoring the dead, Chesed Shel Emes is the greatest form of kindness that we can do, for it provides no rewards in return except for the mitzvah itself. Avram placed his pain and sadness aside to buy the Mearas HaMachpelah and bury Sarah as quick as possible to honor her one last time. In our daily life, it is imperative that you understand that when you come across an obstacle in your path to success, you must direct all of your effort in overcoming the challenge rather than dwelling on it. For the more attention you surrender to it, the less focus and energy you will have to transcend and prevail over the difficulties you face, as the strength and power of your challenge are only as much as you are willing to give it. So when you hit that necessary bump in the road, focus on the most important task at hand, surpassing and overcoming your obstacles to get back on the road to success. There's an amazing quote that I once heard. Obstacles are those frightening things you see when you take your eyes off your goal. Have a great weekend and good Shabbos. Thank you for tuning in to the Parsha Perspective. Check out our website, theparshaperspective.com. Send thoughts and comments to theparshaperspective@gmail.com. Till next time, thanks for listening.